Hello, Valerie Shodine here, combining two of my favorite things, stenciling and bullet journaling. And to do that, I'm going to show you these new stencils I've designed for Stencil Girl products, banner stencils, and lettering and journal setup stencils. And here are some beautiful headings that you can make using these stencils. This is done with gelato with pen. And then shading really gives it a lot of depth with either pencil or pen. Of course, what's a banner without words added? So in the lettering stencil, there are months added for the year as well as 2 alphabets. These two were done using the Viva watercolor sheets and pen. You can mix and match with other lettering stencils that you may have, like this Celtic stencil. These letters fit so wonderfully with the mid-century modern banners. Just look at how the different lettering styles give different looks for each of these banners. And now I'm going to do a demo of how to set up your grid super easy with the stencil, as well as the watercolor banner and text.
What I want to do first is, you can see I've drawn a line both ways down the center with my ruler and pencil. And then on this one, there's a little plus mark and these little holes here where you line up your ruler and draw the lines along those and then cut those. They aren't exactly in quarters, but they've been designed so they fit right inside of the pocket of an A5 bullet journal or a moleskin journal. So there's lots of versatility. They lay flat so you can take them with you and use them the whole year. Okay, I'm just going to cut these here and then get started. Okay, there we go. Here's the months of the year, letters to use in 2 styles and numbers, and this fits right on the squares, so you don't even have to measure for the calendar. Just mark off where it begins and ends. 4 on one side, 3 on the other, whichever way you choose. Pretty awesome. I could do the 3 here and 4 here like I have, or I could do 4 and 3, or I can switch it up from month to month. And so I just decided to do it like this. I'm starting with the calendar here because that's what the purpose of this page is. So I'm just going to line these up, and it's so handy to have this grid like this because I can just go in with my Micron pen here, and in fact that's an 8. I think a 5 would be better, have it set. So 5, let me try that. Ah, perfect. It's like putting on the right shoe. I have to admit, the squares are not my favorite part to draw, so having a stencil like this is great. And then I'm going to go in with a metallic pen, probably gold, and put a dot in the middle, so kind of make it special there as well. Okay, there's my grid set up. Yay, how fast was that? And now, probably the hard part is deciding which of these wonderful banners I want to use for my month. Let's see. That might be a good one. I kind of like this one. Let me see my months here. So this is the monthly one, which makes it really easy. Oh, that's nice. Okay, you kind of see which ones you like to fit. And I am going to tape this down with some washi tape. And now I am going to stencil by putting my cosmetic sponge in water and kind of squeezing it in there. I'll show you just a little bit like this so the water gets in the sponge. But then I'm going to take my paper towel or cloth and not over my journal, but I'm going to squeeze it out as hard as I can so that it's not even a little bit drippy. So there's moisture on here. The moisture is gone mostly from there, but it's really flexible. It's damp, and I am going to test. I've added some water to the colors I think I'm going to use. I squirted some out, so I'll need to test, which is good to just test. In fact, I can use another one of the banners to test. So that looks pretty good. It maybe I used too much. The raw sienna, or I have quinacridone, quinacridone gold. Don't want to move that. Looks like I could use a little bit more. Sometimes if you need to, you can dip the brush a little bit, but then dip the sponge, but then you want to make sure that it's pretty well dry. That is the key to stenciling with watercolor, is to have a damp but not dripping sponge. That looks good. You can layer some colors too, like if that's my base layer, I could go in with a little bit, it's a little more orange, of the quinacridone gold, and just do a little bit darker to add some depth. And then if I want to add shading, I can go in with a raw umber, that's, that really dark brown, or the Van Dyke brown, or a combination of the two. And then I'm just tapping where the scroll folds in, or along the edge, just a little along the edge. So just super light. Okay, there, I think that's nice. Now I can go in, if I want it to not look like a stencil, I can go in with these same colors and fill these in. Requires a little more skill. Probably my favorite way to do this, and while this is dry, I'll just show here, is to do this double line. And it's really easy to outline. You just follow these lines, and I'll be doing that. But it gives a great framework and just kind of a nice pop. You can, of course, color like I did in here or not, doesn't matter. I can go in with another stencil for my month of the year and just put that in there how I want. And that works for all of these banners, which is kind of nice here. That you can choose and mix and match or turn them the other way, so you have a lot of choices with these banner stencils. I really like them, and I'll be using them the whole year. Okay, to put the month in, I could do a few things. I could fill it in with a water-soluble pencil and have a really dry sponge there. I'll show you on another page what that could look like. But what I want to show you here is, because I think I'll be using this the most, and I think most people would, is I'm going to outline it with maybe a 1 on the inside and then fill it in with an 8 or a 5 size pen that has the fatter nib. And just to do that here we go. Okay, then I'm going to go in. Let's try the 8, see if that will work. And just fill it in. Then I can go back in, and to make it not look like a stencil, I can add these lines that are the connectors. Okay, look at that, how easy that is. Then what I can do here is I can put my stencil back on. For some reason, this is not very easy for me, and I don't know why. I usually just do mine freehand, but someone said to me, well, most people don't. So I'm trying to do what most people would do here. And somehow lining up my stencil is the hardest part. And I'll show you how to do the, so you outline. Okay, there's that. And then I go in, probably with a smaller nib, like a 1, and I outline it, or I could use the same one, but outline about the same distance here. Isn't that cool? That's a trick I use a lot with stenciling, is doing a thinner outline line around it. And for some reason, it just pulls all those lines together that before kind of separated everything. Now I have some sets of numbers I can choose from. I could choose those, or these letters here, numbers, I mean. Okay, so the numbers are here, and if I want to make them not look like stencils, I just connect the lines like I often do. Okay, then I can just go in, and I could do something else, but I just like this simple dot in there. Let each day sparkle. And if I wanted to, I could fill this in with gold to go with it, like these, if I wanted to. But I could just leave it there as well, or paint around that too. There's so many options. That's one thing nice about exploring something for a whole year, because I can try different ways on different calendar pages. Okay, I may want to write other things. I could take this and maybe write notes in lowercase here if I want to put notes here, or words down here across. Just, these are all things that I need to decide. I think I'll go ahead. This one's so easy to do, and if you use the 8 size, it fits just exactly in here. So using my Micron 08 pen, and I'm just going to write something I think we all could use about now, and here it is. Okay, be hopeful. There you go. One thing I want to show you is how a watercolor pencil, or this is a Stabilo all pencil, can be used to letter with stencils. And I don't know if that's the best one there. Let's try March here. That one fits better with this. I'm just coloring it in, and it's important to test. I've tested my cosmetic sponge, so it has a good amount of dampness, not too much is kind of the key. So mine doesn't, and then I'm just wetting it so it activates the pencil. And then there you go. And I can always go back a little bit of this and connect those lines if I want it not to look like a stencil. And then I can go back. Usually I go with, I don't think I have one here, but usually like a 2 or 3. I'll just use my 1. And then I can outline the shadow part of it. So I'm imagining the light's coming from this direction. There it is. All right, just one more way you can letter with stencils. So I hope you have fun with these. There's so many possibilities.
For more inspiration, visit my website and blog at ValerieShodine.com, and for stencils, visit Stencil Girl Products. Blessings to you as you create.